Hello everybody, I'm Abasu and welcome to the course of NIST Risk Management Framework. In the last session, we have discussed about the basics of this framework. What is NIST? What is Risk Management Framework? And what are the different steps to implement this particular framework? So we have discussed about these 7 steps. So just to give you in brief overview, what are they? So let's start with prepare. What is basically prepare step is what do we do in this step? Prepare to execute the risk management framework from an organization and a system level perspective by establishing a context and priorities for managing security and risk. Second step is categorize. So what would you in this step? Categorize the system and the information processed, stored, and transmitted by the system based on an analysis of impact of loss. Then next is select an initial set of controls for the system and tailor the control as needed to reduce the risk level to an acceptable level. The next is implement. Implement is basically to implement the control which we have selected in our select phase to minimize our risk level. Then next is assess. Now we have implemented the control. Now we are assessing that if the controls are implemented correctly, operating as intended and producing the desired outcome with respect to satisfying the security and policy requirement. Now next is authorize the system or the common control based on the determination that the risk to an organization operations and asset individual and other organization and the nation is acceptable. Now the monitor. Now we have looked into the risk at organization level and system level. We have categorized the risks on the basis of the systems and information. Then we have selected the control. Then we have implemented the control. Then we have assessed the control. Now then we have authorized it, and then monitor. Now on the day-to-day basis, on the ongoing basis, will be accessing the control effectiveness, documented changes to the system and environment of operation, conducting risk assessment and impact analysis, and reporting the security and privacy posture of the system. So this we have discussed a brief understanding of all the phases. So now in coming classes we'll be discussing each and every step in detail. So today I'm going to discuss in detail about the first step, that is prepare. So when we talk about the prepare, then there are 2 categories how we'll prepare it, that is at organization level and at a system level. So first let's discuss about at a organization level, and there are 7 tasks which we need to perform. So do the preparation of the risk management framework at the organization level. So let's first understand what is the purpose of prepare. The prepare step is to carry out essential activities at an organization mission and business process and information system level of an organization to help prepare the organization to manage its security, privacy risk using the risk management framework. Now let's come to the first task, that is RM role. RM role means risk management role. What does task do? What do we do in this task? Identify and assign individual to specific role associated with security and privacy risk management. The roles and responsibility may include person that are internal or external to the organization. Internal means the employees, external can be the insurer, vendors, third parties, customers, all those things. And since the organization has different mission, functions, organization structure, there may be differences in the naming convention of risk management roles and how specific responsibilities are allocated among organization persons. So it is like one responsibility can be broken into multiple people, and single person can be own the multiple roles and perform the multiple activities. So this is what we are having as a first term as a risk management role. The next is RM strategy, that is risk management strategy. What we do into that: establish a risk management strategy for organization that includes and determine the risk tolerance. Risk tolerance. Now, what is risk tolerance? Tolerance is the degree of risk or uncertainty that is acceptable to an organization. Risk tolerance affect all parts of organization. Risk management process having direct impact on the risk having direct impact on the risk management decision made by senior leadership or executive throughout the organization and providing important constraints on their decision. The risk management strategy guides and inform risk based decision including how security and privacy risk is framed, assessed and responded to and monitor. Now, a third task is risk assessment. Now we have defined the roles. Now we have prepared the risk strategy by looking into the risk tolerance of an organization. Now, third is the risk assessment. Risk assessment is assessing the organization-wide security and privacy risk and update the risk assessment result on a ongoing basis. Risk assessment at the organization level leverages aggregated information from a system level risk assessment result, continuous monitoring, or any strategy risk consideration relevant to the organization. The organization considers the total of risk from the operation and the use of its information system and from the information exchange and connection with other internal and externally owned system and from the use of external service providers. So this is what we are having is a risk assessment. Next step is control baseline and CSF profile. CSF is cyber security risk profile. So this is, if you have looked into the NIST cyber security framework, you must be knowing about it. There are 3 stages, and third stages is basically the profile where we are creating the current profile and target profile and comparing to see what are the improvement areas. So basically now look into what is control baseline and CSF profile. This is establish, document and publish organizational tailored control baseline and cybersecurity framework profile to address the organization mission or business need to specified set of control to reduce risk. Organizationally tailored control baseline may be developed for organization wide use. An organizational tailored baseline provide a full specific set of controls, control enhancements and supplemented guidance that derive from a established control baseline. Now our fifth step is common control identification. So what is this? Identify, document, publish organization-wide common control that are available for inheritance by the organization system. Now let's understand what do we mean by the common controls. Common controls are controls that can be inherited by one or more information system. For example, physical and environmental protection control, system boundary and monitoring control, personal security controls, policies and procedure, acquisition control. So these are the control which is not corresponding to a particular system. This can be to a multiple systems. So that's why we are saying it as a common controls. Next is impact level prioritization. Prioritize the organization system with the same impact level. So this task can only be performed when we have completed our next step, that is categorize, because inside the categorize for each and every system we will define its impact level, and once we define the impact level, only then we can prioritize the organization system corresponding to that. So now our last step is continuous monitoring strategy. What it talks about develop and implement organization wide strategies for continuous monitoring control effectiveness. An effective aspect of risk management is the ability to monitor the security and privacy posture across the organization and effectiveness of the controls implemented within or inherited by the organization system on an ongoing basis. So once we have defined the role, we have put put the strategies, we did the risk assessment, we have defined the controls, then we have identified the common control, we have categorized the system on the basis of on the basis of the priority. Now we need to monitor the strategy on the time to time basis to see if there are any changes required. So that is what we are having the task preparation at a organization level. So next we'll look into